So, Shannon, did you have any problem with him saying this?
I don't have a problem with what he said. Although he said it for selfish reasons, Skip, he's absolutely correct. I had a very simple saying, Skip, when I played the game of football, and I played 14 years, and a lot of people know my career. You never ask a man more than you're willing to give. You ask your players to go out there, Skip, and give it everything they possibly have. You told me on Sunday, Zeke quit on your football team because he said, I think Zeke said he hurt it, he felt, a little tinge in his quad, and he asked out. You said he quit. Well, Doug Peterson quit on his team. And I said yesterday, Skip, I don't know how he got up there in front of his team and said, you know what, guys, we gave it everything we could. No, you didn't. Because you're in position to win that game, Skip. You were only down 3 points. And the best chance for you to win, you took that out and said, well, I want to take a look at Nate Sudfeld. Now, supposedly, you're thinking about trading Carson Wentz for Nate Sudfeld or Jalen Hurts. Now, which guy do you think should have been receiving those reps in those situations? So I have no problem with Joe Judge said. Although he said it for selfish reasons. He said, look, guys, go out there and play, and if you play your guys, and that's my thing, Skip. I got no problem with that. He said at the beginning of the week, certain guys, you're not going to play, you're not going to play, you're not going to play. Everybody else is going to play. Give us your best effort. Because Jalen Hurts is giving you too good of an effort, Skip, you take the man out to ensure you're going to lose the game. That's where I have the problem with. If you want to see it, I believe Fletcher Clark was injured to begin with because he went out the Cowboys game.
He did.
Some of the other guys, Skip, if you said, okay, at the beginning of the week, Alshon and D. Jack and Miles Sanders and yada, 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 you're not playing, okay. But if Jalen Hurts had gotten hurt, Skip, that would be a different story. I got no problem with that. Jalen Hurts was not hurt. And it's being reported that some guys had to be refrained on the sideline.
Yeah.
The problem that I have with what Dougie Peterson did is that he lied. Now, if he had told the truth, the NFL would have had a big problem. A big problem with that. So he had to say, well, I want to get Nate Sudfeld some reps. You want to get a 6th-round draft pick who's been on your roster for 4 years. If you thought he could play a lick, you wouldn't have drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. You know what he is. He's a journeyman at best. So Joe Judge is absolutely right, Skip. You don't ask more than you're willing to give. And Doug Peterson did not give his players the best effort, the effort that he asked them to give every day in practice, every day in meeting, and in every game. So I have no problem, although he's a terrible messenger, Joe Judge is, he's absolutely right with what he said about Doug Peterson.
Okay. I have a whole lot to say about this, and my final takeaway is different than your conclusion. Okay. Obviously, Joe Judge said exactly what his players and his fans wanted him to say yesterday. The truth is, Joe Judge said exactly what I wanted him to say as a Cowboy fan. I think all the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboy Nation sat back and said, way to go, Joe Judge. Because everybody thought that the NFL was tainted Sunday night by the loss of credibility that was displayed by Doug Peterson in Philadelphia in a game that was teetering. It should have been 17-all going to the 4th quarter when he didn't even take a chip shot field goal on 4th and goal from the 4-yard line against what many people consider the best defensive front in football. You just take the 3 and it's 17-all going to the 4th, right?
This is from Dougie P., who played for a tie.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden, you got chutzpah and you want to go for it.
Okay, I got it. I also want to make one quick point about Joe Judge. There's a biblical passage, I think it's Matthew 7, if my memory serves, 7:1, about judge not lest you be judged.
Right.
Because there's going to come a point, if he's as good as I think he is, where he's going to be thrust into one of those late season positions where, should I play my guys or not? Because this other team is teetering on the edge of the playoffs. Should I eliminate them by playing my guys? And obviously there comes a time when it's better for your football team not to play people. And it's better not to play to win and play as hard as you can in the final regular season game.
You're right, but here's the thing. The problem, Skip, if you're going to do that, let's just say Pittsburgh says, okay, we're not playing Big Ben. Mason Rudolph, you're up. They get within a field goal and they bench Mason Rudolph.
Yep, I agree.
That's the problem.
Okay. Now, back to a guy that in the past you have occasionally liked.
Yes.
You've called him Dougie P.
Yes.
I want everybody to understand that Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl with his backup quarterback, Nick Foles, and proceeded to write a book whose title was
Fearless.
Fearless. You want to talk about audacity? You want to talk about you-know-whats? That's it right there in a nutshell, that one word of fearless.
Yes.
You come out of nowhere with your backup quarterback. You hang 41 on Bill Belichick's defense and outscore Tom Brady 41-33 in a Super Bowl game. You're suddenly a made man, and you say, I'm going to write a book whose title is I Am Fearless, and it's just going to say fearless, right?
Right.
Okay, so he prides himself on being the smartest guy in the room. He wants everybody to think that he sees things nobody else can see, that he's got genius about him.
Right.
And I can't criticize what he's done in Philly. He went 7-9 that first year when Dak and Zeke took over the division as rookies in 2016. Next year, 13-3 Super Bowl, right? Next year, even with Nick Foles coming back around again, they made a little playoff run. They won in Chicago, and they had New Orleans on the ropes until Alshon let a ball go right through his hands for an interception, right? And then, obviously, then 2018, they came alive late. They weren't a very good team, but Carson Wentz played, I thought, very well with some of his practice squad players, starting with Greg Ward Jr., and they did make the playoffs. Then, as you know, Carson Wentz got hurt like immediately and ended up throwing one pass, 1 out of 3 in a playoff game against Seattle, and they lost a home playoff game that nobody thought they were going to win in the first place. But he did make the playoffs 3 straight years, so I'm going to give him some credit there. Okay, here's my final takeaway after watching this unfold last night and sleeping on it. I believe that after I read this quote from Doug Peterson in his media session yesterday, I think he was playing to win because he reversed field yesterday and he contradicted what he said after the game, moments after the game.
Was he lying then or was he lying now?
I think he was telling the truth yesterday. He said, we were struggling just a little bit to move the ball. He thinks a whole lot. And defensively, they kept us, the Eagles kept us in the game with a couple of takeaways late, which they did. They almost had 3 takeaways late. And my plan was to get Nate in the game. So he's talking about how capable. He says, here's a guy who's very capable of running our system and executing. Okay, let's look at Nate Sudfeld, shall we?
Yeah, let's please.
Who is he? He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. Who does that remind you of? Nick Foles, who sort of came out of nowhere. Now, he's a higher pick.
He was a second-round pick.
Was he a third round or a second round?
I think he was a second.
Okay. Nate Sudfeld was a 6th-round pick out of Indiana by way of Modesto, California. Hot high school recruit, very good high school player, because he's prototypical. He's 6 feet 6, 235 pounds, right?
Right.
And he was recruited by UCLA in Arizona, went to Indiana. I don't know exactly why, but he had a pretty good run at Indiana, was 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions his last year, got drafted in the 6th round, a la Tom Brady.
Right.
He was the 187th overall pick. Brady, as he always says, is 199, right? Okay, so I believe that Dougie P., fearless, believes that Sudfeld is a player. Because what was Dougie P. as a player? What was Doug Peterson as a player?
He was the backup.
He was undrafted out of Louisiana Monroe, out of the state of Washington originally. He started 17 NFL games, but it was the hard way because he bounced all around. He must have been cut 8 or 9 different times by various teams, starting with Miami.
He was with the Packers for
a long time. And then because Andy Reid took a liking to him as a player, Andy Reid in his first year in Philadelphia said, I want him, and signed him as a free agent and made him his starter. And that first year, he ended up starting 9 games. He went 2-7. And then he went to the Browns the year after Belichick got fired. Chris Palmer was the first-year head coach. And they tabbed him as their starter, and he went 1-7. So he bounced around the league, and he was just sort of a backup / occasional starting quarterback who
he sees himself in Nate Sudfeld.
He sees himself. I'm just telling you, he sees himself. So he thinks this guy's got a pretty good arm. I couldn't even tell the other night because he had a QBR of 2. I felt sorry for Nate Sudfeld because it's unfair to 2 quarterbacks at the same time because I'm the biggest Jalen Hurts fan you're going to find, and that's exactly the kind of game that he can win.
Right.
Jalen Hurts can make one play with legs or arm that will win a game that's 17-all if it should have been
Skip,
going to
I'm not criticizing Nate Sudfeld. What's he supposed to say? Hell, no, I'm not going in there. Let him finish it up, Coach. He's going to go in.
So he goes in and blows up Dougie P's genius plan.
Right.
I am the genius here because he can't execute. He stinks because he's not ready. Because I doubt he got many snaps in practice.
No.
And meanwhile, on the sidelines, there's all-out mutiny going on because Jason Kelce, who's a Pro Bowl center and the leader of that team, it was reported, he walked up to Doug Peterson on the sideline and said, "Could you please explain what you're doing?"
Right.
And I don't know what the answer was, but if I know Doug Peterson, he thinks he's smarter than any player right now, and that he just said, I'm doing what I think I should do here. I think that Nate gives us a better chance right now.
Yeah, he's talking about the offense has been struggling. Dougie, look around. For 17 weeks, your offense has been struggling. That's why you're in the position. That's why you made the quarterback switch, because you said your offense is struggling.
Okay. I just believe he really was trying to win. So I don't think Joe Judge got it exactly right, said the right thing for the wrong reason, because I think if you could get Doug Peterson to be hooked up to a lie detector right now, you would find out that he truly believed in his heart of hearts that Nate Sudfeld would go in and win the game throwing the football in ways. Look, I've never said Jalen Hurts was a great thrower of the football. You don't think he's a very good thrower of the football. I think he's good enough to be a starting and winning quarterback in the league.
You can't say I'm trying to win, get in a position to win, and then take the guy out that gives you the best chance. Skip, that's what you said. You said you're making the switch to Jalen Hurts because of the spark he provides, and he gives you a chance to win.
Knowing what you know about Doug Peterson's background in this league, do you think he believes that Jalen Hurts is the style of quarterback he can win with?
No.
I say no. Again, I don't know how much input he had into drafting Jalen Hurts. Was that a Howie Roseman GM move?
Because the thing is, Greg, the reason why the Lamar Jackson works in Baltimore,
you got to buy in.
Greg Roman built a system for Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, you got it.
Doug Peterson has only played.
He's prototype. He's Nick Foles.
Thank you.
Can Nick Foles run? Not really.
No, he ain't running that style of offense.
No, but I mean, he doesn't move much at all.
Right.
He's straight drop back, throw it from the pocket quarterback. So is Nate Sudfeld, 6'6", who has some credentials from college. He's just not. You know, again, he hasn't really gotten a chance. And so Doug Peterson sees himself in that kid, and he says, I'm going to light up the world right now. I'm going to show him Nate Sudfeld is a hidden gem for the Eagles.
Skip, the difference between Nick Foles and Nate Sudfeld, in Nick Foles' second year, he went 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
I got it.
But guess what? Even they didn't believe in him anymore, and that's what they do. They traded for Sam Bradford.
Right.
So for me,
and then once Nick Foles was out of that system, he goes to St. Louis to the Rams and stinks.
Yeah,
okay?
He stunk everywhere he's been except in that system.
But in that system, we both agreed he played some of the best playoff football at that position you will ever see.
You're right, Skip. Let's take that back. He still stinks in that system, just not in Philly, because Chicago, Matt Nagy runs the exact same system because he came from under Andy Reid, who Peterson came from under. So it's just in Philly. Skip, think about what Philly is. Philly is Rocky. Rocky never gives up.
Nope.
He get beat down by Clubber Lang, got beat by Drago. They've actually adopted that mentality that we don't give up, we don't quit. And Jason and Dougie P got up in front of his team and said, guys, we gave it everything we got. Yeah, no, we did. You didn't.
Agreed. So in the end, I believe Jalen Hurts would have won that game because I believe in Jalen Hurts, but I believe in his style of quarterback.
Yes.
I don't think that guy on the right side of that screen does believe in Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. So here's the irony of this. The painful irony for Eagles Nation is, reportedly, he has burned his bridge to Carson Wentz to the ground.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that Carson Wentz and agents putting out the story, we want out.
Right.
We want to be traded.
Carson Wentz did not speak to the media yesterday.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jalen Hurts, I believe the bridge between that guy and Jalen Hurts right now is on fire, just starting to burn to the ground. Now, Jalen Hurts is as coachable because he grew up as a coach's kid.
Right.
Houston.
Right.
Coached by his father in high school, and he was taught that you do what the coach says, but still, you could see Jalen Hurts on the bench, as hurt as he could be. And what was he mouthing?
This ain't right.
It ain't right. It ain't right because it wasn't right.
No.
And he knows it, and it's going to hurt his heart to the point where, as a young as you well know in this league, a young quarterback's psyche is so delicate.
It's everything.
You better be careful, because if you yank him in a close game and you say, I think this guy throwing the ball gives us a little better chance because you couldn't make the pass on 4th and goal. You were short with the pass to Quez Watkins in the end zone,
Skip,
right?
think about this, what he did. Normally what you do, Carson Wentz had been the backup.
Yep.
For the entirety of, once he got benched, he was the backup. You deactivated. That's what Ron Rivera did to Dwayne Haskins. He was so upset with this play, he deactivated. Said, you will not get on the field. Even if somebody get hurt,
Yep.
we're going to an emergency quarterback. So
Yep.
what Dougie P did was the equivalent of what Ron Rivera did. He said, we're going to deactivate you. We're not going to even give you a uniform.
That's what he did.
So now you expect Carson Wentz to come back and play for you. I said it at the time that he did it. I don't know how you ever come back. Skip, if Carson Wentz was a rookie, I could see that.
Yep.
What they're doing with Tua is a rookie. He understands. But you can't do that with a fourth-year quarterback that's been a starter for as long as Wentz has been a starter. Bench him and think everything's going to be okay. That's not going to happen, Dougie. And you know that. And then you did what you did. Not only did you go with Jalen Hurts, Skip, he's like, we were struggling. Skip, Jalen Hurts was moving the ball. They were moving the ball if the guys could catch.
Yep.
If the guys could catch, I mean, if the guy that won the raffle to play, get an Eagles uniform and play receiver on Sunday, if he could hold on to the ball. If Jalen Reagor, first-round draft pick, I played with his father, Monte Reagor. If he could hold on to the ball, you'd have better situations. So you were making plays, and then you right there, Skip, on 4th and goal. The question is, in the regular season, do you believe if he was trying to win the game, you think he goes for it on that?
No.
What guy goes for it on 4th and goal in the third quarter? 4th and goal from the 4 or 5, not the half-yard line, the 4 and the 5-yard line.
And as you've said all year now, Washington's front is about as good as it gets, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you've got them pushed up against their goal line and you've shortened the end zone, so to speak, I don't love your chances of getting it home, right?
And plus the fact is, you talk about your offense was struggling. Their offense couldn't move the ball.
No.
Did you see what your defense was doing to Alex Smith?
And it was taking the ball away. It kept giving you chances.
Anytime they blitz him, Skip, the ball's going out of bounds. He's throwing the ball away because he can't get away.
Man.
And you did that. And Skip, you do realize, Dougie, although you're the coach, the players on your team, they're looking at them like, hell, we can't move the ball, but they can't move it either.
Yep. So in the end, this man, Doug Peterson, caught lightning in a champagne bottle, right?
Yes.
And won a Super Bowl with his backup quarterback.
Yeah.
It was almost like fate. The injury god said, let there be Doug Peterson, because Carson Wentz in a game out here at the Coliseum late in that year tore up his knee. Right? And here came Nicky Foles.
Right.
What? Nick Foles.
Nick Foles has never played like that in a 2-game stretch.
No.
And he will never, ever play like that again. We'll never see, Skip, what he did in that championship game, in that Super Bowl. You might not ever see it. Brady has played great in the championship game, but he didn't follow it up with maybe, I don't even think he played, because he played unbelievable against, the Deflategate, they said. He played unbelievable in the second half. He threw the ball up and down the field. But his game against the Legion of Boom, overall in its totality, he played great in the fourth quarter. It wasn't like Nick Foles from start to finish. Nick Foles was throwing it from start to finish.
I agree. Championship game, Super Bowl, doesn't get any better than that. MVP over Tom Brady, obviously, in the Super Bowl. And Doug Peterson writes a book entitled Fearless. And Sunday night, Doug Peterson tried to show the world, I am a genius. Watch what I do. Watch this magic move I make. He had a QBR of 2. Thank you.
Skip, you don't
Game over.
Like you said, look, when you took Jalen Hurts, that was an indictment. You're like, oh, we're always trying to develop. That was an indictment on your starting quarterback, but it was also an indictment on your backup quarterback. Because if you thought the backup was adequate enough, you'd have never took Jalen Hurts. You'd have took another position of need.
I agree.
But Joe Judge is just the wrong messenger. Joe Judge was speaking out of frustration because my team would have gotten in had you beaten Washington. So I get what he said. He's right, but he's just the wrong messenger.
I got it. But I would like, as a Cowboy fan, to thank Joe Judge for what he said. Way to go.
You should
I hear you.
You should thank Joe Judge for exposing your team also. Let them know what y'all need.
My own coach exposed my team.
You got a made man.
There's a lot there. We don't even have time to get into it. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.